Yep. All right, this is Lunenburg Water District Commissioners Meeting, May 10th, 2023, 4:08 PM. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we got minutes of April 26th. I don't know where they went.
I haven't got them either. Get the minute, maybe?
We don't have minutes of April 26th. Oh, I don't know how to find anything. And while we're on it, we will review and sign warrants.
That one has everything, because I printed two, depending on which way you guys decided.
So does it matter which one we sign?
I already got rid of the other.
Okay.
the other one. So those are the two correct ones.
Okay.
I know you don't agree with us,
It's all right.
but
I let
let's
go.
get it behind us
Yep.
and let it go.
Yep.
You know, out the door and it's over with. So that's the reason I did it for. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we could have sat here and argued and everybody would have walked out of here ticked off and
Not worth
not worth it.
it. Yep, okay.
But I appreciate your input.
Yes, that's
Without-
good, I like that.
Okay. So, while we're doing all this, do you want to start to talk about
Yep.
review approved changes to personnel policies and rules and regulations?
So we can start, I guess, kind of with the easier one. Rules and regs. We're thinking, so I gave you guys a bunch. It basically, this short one is miscellaneous fee schedule. And that kind of ties into the big packet, the rules and regulations. Because the miscellaneous fees is stated in the rules and regs. So the red highlighted, anything red highlighted is changed. So we were thinking the water turn on was 50. Was thinking of going to 75. Our hourly rate was 60, going to 90. Backhoe was, what was it, 100?
90.
90, going to 125. So those are the three fees on the miscellaneous fees that tie into, if those numbers are approved, that then ties to the rules and regs. But there's a few pages in the rules and regs. Most of the little red highlighted stuff is the prices that correlate to the miscellaneous fee schedule. But if you go to the big section under meters, I think it's page 5. Section 4.
Section 1, section 4.
It's, nope, next page, I think. The big page with, did I put it in there?
We're under section 5?
Yeah,
Under section 4
I'll keep going.
of Article 3 is meters.
I'm sorry, Article 3, Section 4?
yeah, you're right here.
Yep, Article 3, section 4.
Okay, that's what,
Sorry.
because they aren't,
Did I mess up here?
no, I'm getting there.
I say the next
Article 2.
page. Your hands on it. Just
Article
let them put your
3,
hands on it. There you go.
section
There we
There
go.
it is.
Okay. So section 4, I wanted to incorporate because of one of our residents that had, we had talked about this, had a past due bill, it took us years to get in, fix a meter, do all that.
Sure.
It, again, has been kind of just done, but I think it now needs to be put in as a policy.
I
That it
absolutely
is
agree.
stated, I don't know if you guys want to read it, basically it states,
We have 2 weeks' notice to do it.
but it also states that if I can't get a read, I have to estimate.
Yep.
And if I have to continue to estimate,
Yep.
I'm going to double that bill, and you're gonna be responsible for it, because how do we know that you have not
Right.
tampered with it, you just filled your pool, and
Exactly,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So basically, this is just covering the office part of when meters fail.
Okay.
Now, what do we mean by in the red, the second,
That's highlighted, so anything in the red is not in the rules and regs.
Basically, that's
Yeah.
section
This is-
4, but.
She wants, she wants
That's
to
okay.
add that into,
okay, because what I'm looking at is repair the meter in a timely manner. What's a timely
So
manner?
if you keep reading,
Well,
Oh, okay, well, I didn't. go
Yeah.
any
Keep
further.
upon detection of a failed meter, the district will give an estimated bill based on previous quarters. If access is not allowed for the following billing period, the estimate will double in usage due to the possibility of overuse of unmetered water. Continued failure or not allowing access for the meter to be repaired will lead to
Okay.
termination of the water service. Residents will be given a minimum of 2 weeks
Okay, gotcha.
notice prior to termination of the service. So it gives you, there's a timeline
Yeah.
after the fact that you can follow.
I mean, I guess we kind of, ultimately, your meter broke. We may not,
I guess maybe what we should try to put in here is once we have determined that there's a broken meter in someone's house,
okay.
that let's have.
Meters found in repair by reason of failure,
I guess what I'm saying is if we find out that there's a damaged meter, and which you guys can do without going in the house,
Not functioning, yes.
okay, let's make a timeline that we must be allowed access to repair this within 2 weeks.
I think
yeah,
that's,
Okay,
receiving,
Okay.
in other words,
That's-
when we notify you that we
Yeah.
noticed your meter is faulty.
Okay.
We need to repair it.
all
let's-
meters found in need of repair or reason of failure to function properly due to release will be repaired or replaced by the water district at the expense of the district, within,
I don't, I think that's kind of long. I mean, you can use a lot of water if you.
no, I think time-wise, I was actually gonna say a month, because I think
Yeah.
time-wise,
Okay.
it's a matter of us,
You need to determine.
once I figure out the meter's faulty,
Right.
I give the guys the letter, it could be a day or two, they get the letter put on their
Okay.
door, we mail, we email, whatever it is. I think 2 weeks is,
And then getting them when they're actually.
An
home.
appointment when
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
home.
I got a
Exactly.
vacation in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I
think-
rather than a timely manner, I think we should put a.
Where did you
time on
see
it.
timely
It says the
manner?
resident.
In the first sentence of the red, where it says the
Oh.
resident responsible for allowing the repair of the
Okay.
meter
Within
Allowing
2
the
weeks. Within
repair
2
of the
weeks.
within 2 weeks of notification.
Yes.
All right.
Within 2 weeks. Okay.
Upon whoa, how about we're doing 2 weeks upon detection of a failed meter?
No, I'd say,
Okay.
I'd say notification, because
Okay.
that's kind of this, because I could detect it, but it could take us a week to
Sure,
get
you
the
may detect it, there
notification.
may be something going on, but
Yeah.
once we've notified you,
And
you have a
have 2
failed
weeks to
meter.
reach out to them.
We would like to schedule time to get in there within 2 weeks to
Yeah.
do, because yes, they
Okay.
could indefinitely push this off, like I can't do it, I can't do it.
You drop a letter off? Do you
We usually put it on their
call?
door, so,
You drop a letter, you call, nothing's certified or registered? Because
you said you used to do that, but people were,
Not so much for meters.
okay.
We would do certified, we'd spend hundreds of dollars.
Right.
And no one would ever pick them up. We'd
'Cause they
go up
knew
there
it
and
was a
they'll-
certified
They
letter
knew what it
coming
was.
from us,
Cause we
so
get the thing,
it's-
it says from the water.
Yeah.
And they know.
Yeah. Because it's right
I mean,
on the
it's-
outside of the
So
envelope.
to us, confirmed delivery was, it's in the door.
Sure.
Within 2 weeks of confirmed notification.
Yes.
can we get those orange stickers that the state police have that they put on the sides of
Like
cars
that
on the
one.
highway so you know that the car has to get towed? Just get a blue one that we have to replace your meter and stick it on their door?
Well, yeah, I definitely want to have the 2 weeks upon, upon notification.
Yeah.
You know, some
Yeah.
sort of confirmed notification or something, and something like that would suffice. Basically, we're looking to
Yeah.
eliminate the possibility of someone having a failed meter and just not letting us in to fix it for as long as possible.
Yes, okay.
Correct? That's
Yep.
what we're going for here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm wondering if you have to define the notification. You know, what's the notification? We will leave notice at your residence?
Within 2 weeks of notification.
You know, how are we gonna notify them? Because every time you leave a little
Well,
loophole, you have the one
typically-
person that
I'm
comes
gonna-
and
I'm gonna
says,
say
well, I
this.
didn't-
Typically, it's our guys go and put
Right.
it on their door.
So you could put notified by hand delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Within
if you
2
wanna
weeks.
set it by hand delivery and mail, if you wanna do that.
I did be notified by hand delivery.
Yeah.
Okay, if for some reason, if someone really started arguing about this, then I would go the certified
Yeah.
letter
Okay.
route. But I think for 99% of the people, you know, I mean, if you put a letter on someone's door and you go there the next day and that letter's gone,
Well, that's, yes. Yeah.
They got the letter.
The
Yep.
dog ate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My kid came home from school and took it off the door and geez, I found it at the
Well,
bottom
we've
of the
left you
pile.
6 messages, and that probably wasn't the first. I'm assuming that's not going to be the first notification. You
Yeah.
call them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, if we do look for numbers, we look for emails, we have ways of.
Sure.
Okay. So that was added there. The next section just talks about faulty meters. It was basically, we've had someone kind of question before, my meter doesn't seem to be reading right. I want it tested, I want it proven. Well, the customer has to pay for that.
Sure.
Which is the fee schedule underneath that, unless the meter is found to be faulty,
Right.
there is no charge. So that's just adding that
Absolutely.
line that basically covers it.
Sure.
So that's all that
Yeah,
one
so
is.
in the past, the old regulation actually had a dollar amount. I think it was $30 or $50,
To-
but you don't know what the testing it
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
5
curious.
years.
How do you do that? Do you take the meter out and
Yeah.
You have
and
to
like
take it
you
out.
have to send it somewhere
Send
to
it.
flow control? Blah blah
Yes.
blah. Okay.
Yep.
In the meantime, then you put another meter in
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that
if the
sounds-
meter's found to be faulty, fine. If it's not, then
Then the
they-
customer has
So
to.
you say cost plus 20%.
Which is what our typical markup is.
How
for
much is a
any-
meter? How much is a 1-inch meter?
$110.
So we're gonna charge basically $20 for the service, because that doesn't seem like it's worth it to me.
Yeah.
So do you
true,
think that
and-
1 hour labor should be added
Yeah.
to all of them?
Absolutely.
And you,
To that top line?
Just so everybody knows, you are not gonna find a faulty meter. You're not. And
Right.
if you do find one, it's to their advantage and
Yeah.
lose. That's why we do the meter replacement program. So yes,
I would
no-
change this
no problem up with
to
that.
hourly rate.
And 1 hour labor or in plus,
I'm gonna say hourly rate, because I know where my meter is in my house, and God, I don't ever wanna touch it, because I feel like as soon as you start to take that thing off, you're in a world of trouble, and I'm sure you guys have been there, that they just don't pop off and pop on. You know, what happens if you go to take this meter off, and the line coming in from the street looks horrible like mine, and it,
so cost plus 20% and hourly rate of, if you guys.
I don't know if I'd say even 20%, I'd say cost plus hourly rate.
So the cost
Hourly-
plus the 20% is based on, so if we paid $100 for the meter testing, we would bill them 120 for the meter.
That's
testing.
what
Oh,
that is.
okay, but yeah,
And-
sorry, cost plus
and-
20, plus labor,
So cost plus 20% and
Wait,
hourly.
So maybe we
And
just word that
hourly.
the cost for test,
cost of test plus 20%.
of test
Plus 20%,
percent and
and
hourly rate,
hourly labor rate.
hourly labor
you,
rate.
you guys okay with that hourly rate?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we can go, yeah, that's kind of what.
I was looking at your rates.
Oh, I-
Can I
I was-
hire you to come do some
Yeah,
stuff
geez,
for me?
are you guys available for $125 an hour for a backup?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I
I
got
mean,
time.
these are just numbers that we're throwing out. This obviously is up to you guys what you want to do.
But on the backhoe, we don't typically do a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
Right, well, you're gonna now.
Well, our goal is always to pass it off, because we
I understand.
pass it over.
I think that's a more, I mean, go call up, Danny Proctor or Powell, see who's in
Water
charge of
bills
it.
and do pay.
You know.
So basically, everything else throughout here is just, anything else highlighted red, just
the
reflects.
rate?
The only other one was, Article 7, Section 1, the water rates.
Okay, hold on, Article 7, Section 1.
Yes.
Article 7, Section 1, I see.
Water
Sprinkler
rates.
lines?
Sprinkler charge, that's what I
Sprinkler
see.
charge. So it was at $50 per quarter, right?
Oh, all right,
Isn't
yeah,
that what
okay, I
that,
see that, yep. Yeah, so
and you
it's,
wanted to go up?
I think it's been $50 since I've worked here.
What's a sprinkler charge?
So if you have a fire protection system that you.
Oh, okay, yes,
Uh,
of
just
course.
a
I'm thinking
quarterly
irrigation for something, yes.
So, I mean, so it was at 50, so it's a quarterly fee?
Yeah.
$75 per quarter, okay, yeah, yep. So we were at the 50, we're going to the 75. So those were kind of the minor changes for now. So it was tied to the miscellaneous fee schedule, if whatever prices you put there, then went into that. And then the only other ones that we already reviewed.
Yeah, so the people with sprinkler systems don't pay for the water that goes through the fire sprinkler. So
Correct.
that's why we charge for it, because obviously annual testing and whatnot, they definitely flow water.
Yes, and they are, you know,
I mean,
an impact to us.
Oh, a huge impact.
Yeah.
Because I would say
like when
probably
they test
the
them, they
number,
slam them off.
And they blow up.
Yeah.
yeah, the
It's
number
very frequent.
one reason for all the service or maintenance that we have to do in repaired mains, I would think.
I think, I know I kind of had mentioned in the past, but I think maybe a regulation that we might put is that they put a pressure relief valve on. So that way if they do surge the system, it'll dump
Oh,
the pressure out. But that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we could coordinate stuff, like say a certain side of town, okay, this guy's got one, you know, then we're good, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, yeah.
Because if someone has one and you search something with it,
You
that
could-
protected our system.
Yes.
You know?
Have we had any trouble with that in the past?
Oh, yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Really?
I would say every broken main is tied to someone doing a test. Maybe, sorry, that was.
Not every.
No, I know, but there's a greater number, because I can remember a bunch of times, the place on Pleasant Street, when they would flow
Every
test.
test.
When they'd flow test that, they'd break something, I think even,
There's another
Electric Ave.
place on Mass Ave that I think they blow up the main every time.
yep,
And there's a place on Electric Ave that,
yep,
yeah.
I think we should charge them. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
if I find out, if it's proven that,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna charge them.
I think these are all very reasonable changes and they
Yep.
should be in
Okay.
effect.
My goal was to try to get some of this set, so that we can get them implemented as soon as possible. Was these ones the rules and regs, and then on the other side?
Yep, do we have
the
to
other
vote,
handout.
do we have to vote these changes?
That's why I put approve on there, so if you guys could vote those, and then we can talk about
So I guess
Anybody-
personal
they-
policies
They
after.
could approve them as written with the exception of adding these additional words as they state.
Yeah, as we-
As you state, yep.
Unless you want us to sign a we've been initialing copies of
I,
this stuff.
I wrote the,
If
If you wrote the
give us-
changes,
if
then
you
we
wrote the
can-
changes,
say
then we
as-
can.
Yeah, if you write the changes on that, let's
There you
initial
go.
that one and approve
Okay.
that one.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept the changes to the Lunenburg Water District.
I make a motion to
Rules and
approve
regs.
the changes to the Lunenburg Water District rules and regulations.
Okay, all those in favor?
Second.
John seconded it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
So this will
No, I
be
just said to John.
another change coming in down the road with the water restrictions. 'Cause that's part of this.
Okay,
So yeah, we're just sign the front copy, I think is the best.
Yeah.
We don't need to initial a whole bunch, just so
No,
we have
no.
one. that we-
That's the copy you made the notes on?
Yes.
what do you think about, everybody at home is watching us raise all these rates and everything? Should we put some kind of a reason out there? I mean, I know there is a reason why we're doing this. First of
Well, I
all, they're
mean-
all too low. I mean,
Are you talking about the rates for this that we just discussed?
Like the
Yeah.
$60 to $90 labor to a 120.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
sure.
they haven't been changed for years and years. I mean, and,
The $60 labor rate, it's probably been there 20 years.
yeah, I mean, I just wanna let the people at home know what we're up to
Yeah,
here,
the
why
fire
these
protection
prices
rate's
are all.
been there, so I've been here 35, 4 years, whatever it's been that,
Yeah.
so it's been
Cool.
longer than that.
Do we have like, a general idea of what our income is based on service work that we invoice to the public?
On like backhoe.
Like, yeah, like the
I could look
backhoe,
that up.
like
Yeah, but
repairing somebody's service line. I would just have to, because I think it's minimal.
I was gonna say,
Oh, definitely.
I don't think it
We probably
puts-
go a year without even doing it, so.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, as far as billable stuff,
And now, when was the last time you sent out a bill for the backhoe?
The only one we did was the guy on Chestnut Street. We just fixed a leak there like a
Oh, we
month ago.
did, that quick one that we needed to do right away
Oh, it was leaking
for,
out, it was the winter time, it was leaking out
For
on
Mass
Mass
Ave.
Ave.
for Kim,
Hillside
from Asian
Drive.
Imperial.
Imperial, yeah.
Yes,
So
we did that
I'm like-
one because it was
I'm
like,
we gotta fix this right, the water's run out, there was like
Yeah.
6 inches,
Yeah.
so we went and fixed that, it was like 3 hours labor.
yeah,
I think that's,
couple hours in
I think that's a
backhoe,
very
but it's not.
reasonable.
I mean, for what it is, yeah, I understand John notifying the public, but we really don't bill out much.
Well,
Right.
no, but I'm just saying.
But just so they understand
Yeah.
that our rates
Yeah.
have been so low for 20 years, that
Right.
it's
And
not
there's
like
still-
we're raising them
there's-
for
and I-
income,
and
we're
I-
raising them,
And I think if you
See,
compare.
they're still
the-
low.
yeah.
Right, if you compared any of these additional fees, let's call it, and you put this across the public sector right now,
Yeah.
If you tried to hire anybody in town for a backhoe for $125 an hour, they'd probably be like, okay, I'll see you in November.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If you hired any plumber around here,
Oh,
$90 an hour is probably a really good deal.
Yep.
Okay? And so I don't think these are outrageous prices
Nope.
at all.
Nope.
And on top of it, we don't often do it, but we just need to get compensated for these times that we go out
Yep.
and it's not the Lunenburg Water District's responsibility, we're fixing it, but
Right.
we do need to get compensation for that. I
Yep.
think this is a very reasonable rate.
I think so too.
Yeah, most of the times when we do it, the person who has the leak, they call this person, this.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't get anybody, can you guys just do it? And then it's,
Sure.
then it's like, okay.
Which ones?
The minutes.
The minutes, I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 26th.
Okay, John, you second that motion?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we had personnel policies, rules, and regulations.
Yep, so that's the other packet I gave you guys. So the quick ones, we can go back to the vacation one, but the personal days and the sick time, we just didn't have those spelled out that they are non-reimbursable if the employee quits or retires. So those are the quick lines there. So the vacation time, I think we just need to spell out a little bit more. Right now, it just basically states what it has, the 1 week after 6 months, 2 weeks. So do we want to, the situations come up where if a employee is with us and they give us a notice at the beginning of the year, are they entitled to the vacation time? How do we want to?
I think it's all in how it's written, and I'd have a hard time
need to make a motion for
writing
that.
it.
Sorry, I make a motion to approve the,
You did minutes?
What?
no,
We
not
already
the
did
minutes.
Warrants?
The warrants, you don't have to.
Oh. My first
You just had
day.
to sign.
Sorry.
What going on? Good. We're doing good.
So,
Georgia.
Yeah.
So that was the one, just two big things on the personal policies that I wanted to add, was the vacation time. Do we need to spell that out more?
Yes,
Do
we
we
do.
need to basically state, I think right now it's been, typical, it states vacation leaves are per calendar year. So at the beginning, say January of 2023, be here for 5 years, I get 3 weeks vacation. So if I give you my notice on January 5th, do I get those 3 weeks paid vacation? Do we want to spell that out?
Well, so can we spell that out? So that's kind of a question I was having when I just started to look at these changes. I'm like, yep, that all sounds good.
So I think
But-
I briefly looked
Yeah.
just a little while ago, and I can look into it more. I would like to try to get this somewhat finalized today if we're looking to hire, so that we have something set. If I find that something's different, we can obviously change it. But I think what I was finding, looking up under MassDOT.gov, is it's employee based. We can state whether or not we want to give vacation time. We can state whether we want this or that. I think it just needs to be spelled out. But I can certainly look into it more to see if we are restricted.
Right.
But I think it would be a good idea for now to have something set in place. And if I find something contradicting that, obviously we'll have to change it.
Would it make sense to maybe alleviate some of this stress is, instead of granting somebody their vacation time on the first of the year, we split it up into 2 halves. In other words, if you're a first year and you get 1 week, you will be granted half of that week, January 1st, and the other half, July 1st. And across the board on all of these.
Because when people try to take, if they're gonna take a vacation or something. they're gonna
Yeah, I
take it,
suppose if you only got 1 week's vacation,
I understand
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe that's something you guys could
Handle
settle out
internally.
yourselves, but
Yep.
on the policy portion of it,
Okay.
for someone who does leave,
Yep, this at least
in
states
the
it.
middle of the year, at least it would cover us, like, you're right, 'cause someone could leave January 2nd and be like, I want my whole vacation.
Yeah.
At least this way here, we can mitigate
It's
that a
on
little
policy.
bit.
Yeah. So how do we word that? I mean, does that Do you think that kind of covers it, what I put in red? Employees who
I mean,
term,
we could, I think we could word it different, where
Okay.
you get 2 weeks vacation. Upon termination, your time is based on accrual earned monthly.
Well, we'd have
So-
to, they
so
would
if
have
you
to
had
be,
3
you'd have
weeks,
to
you
earn
divide
it,
it
you'd have to earn it.
But see, here's the problem. Let's say that someone on January 1st decides they're going snowmobiling for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. They've been here for 3 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then they quit February 1st.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They just got their 2 weeks and, yeah, I understand that
I know.
this is a little iffy, but this has come up. It's not the first time this has come up.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm in favor of splitting the vacations half and half. You get half of it in the beginning of the year and half of it in July. And, you know,
yeah.
I think policy-wise,
Yeah, it
from
at
the
least
committee.
covers
So
that
you're
part, yeah.
saying, you're
Yeah.
saying,
So
work
if-
for 6 months, you've earned a week. You work for another 6 months, you, let's see.
So what if we do?
1 week vacation leave per calendar year. Employees earn 1 week after 6 months, 2 weeks after 1 year, and 3 weeks after 5 years. So you're saying that in the 6 months, you're gonna give them,
I give them their 1 week.
you give them their 1 week, and then after a year, basically,
But you guys-
you could say they accrue a week every 6 months.
Yes.
And then, year 3,
A week and a half after.
3
6.
weeks after 5 years. So then you'd have to, if you get 3 weeks, then what are you gonna do you're gonna do a week and a half in 6 months and a week and a half in 6 months.
So you
they-
want that-
I'm curious, just how do you guys do it now? Let's say we hire somebody now, like, does the clock start January 1st for you guys, or do you actually do it on their hire date and you figure all
For the
that?
6 months, we do it on the higher date.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And then-
after that, you just go by January
January,
1st.
Okay, now if, I just thought of something out. The first 6 months, 1 week.
After the 6 months.
After 6 months, you get the 1
Okay,
week.
what if the guy works 9 months? You're gonna give him a quarter of that, or a
So
time?
let's say
for
someone
No,
does, let's say, all right, let's say
the- Or
someone,
is it gonna be
I
the
know.
6 months is the cutoff for the first week, 12 months is is what you gotta do?
let's say we hire somebody today in May, okay? In 6 months, it's November. All right? And then you wait to January 1st to give them his 2 weeks, is that how it's been going for
Yeah,
Pretty much,
years?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm okay with that, but I would like to split that in half. In January 1st, you get 1 week, in July 1st, you get the second week of your first year.
Now, what was you saying about time?
Well, so it's either earned time or sick time, the state laws, once you give your 2 weeks, you're not entitled to that, sick time or earned time or whatever.
That affects your vacation too.
No, he says vacation, the way Greg described vacation was considered payroll, not, or
Earnings.
earnings, not a comp time or a sick time thing. Comp time and sick time are different. So vacation is, the way it's stated here, it's kind of part of your pay. So like, it's part of your earnings. So I'm okay with kind of putting this in, but I think we need to dive a little deeper, and I think that
Okay.
maybe, I don't know if we're the ones to do it or we consider outsourcing, so that,
It's
it still
working,
doesn't
right?
matter, we're still never gonna cover every little thing,
I know, but
so
at least this addresses some of the issues that have come up for now.
Right,
Yeah,
So what you're saying, the guy
So we're gonna do,
has to leave at 6 months to get 1 week, and has to leave at 1 year to get 2 weeks. There's nothing in between those.
I'm saying, we could break this down by month or something like that,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'm
we
just
could-
saying, I'm just saying in general, as a guy that's been working here for 3 years, January 1st comes, you're gonna give him his 2 weeks vacation. But all I'm saying is that, I think instead of giving him the 2 weeks, you give him 1 week up until July 1st, and then you give him the second week. So if something like this, where he's terminated at some point, we don't owe him this vacation that he didn't really work the full year to earn.
yeah,
if you spell it out, when you say entitled to a portion, who decides the portion? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could do it, I could do the math on that, be like,
Yeah.
you get so many
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
per day, blah,
If
blah.
everybody's got different 3 weeks, 2 weeks,
Right.
4 week, whatever, and a portion based on monthly time work, that's how I would.
So what are you gonna do if he works 7 months or 8 months?
That he's gonna get the 2 weeks.
So we're right back where we started?
No,
No.
because.
Because you got the 7, 8 months.
Because you
in.
went past the
You
6
went at
months
least past
mark.
the
Past
6
6
months. Versus if you only worked a quarter of the year,
Yeah.
or a day,
Yeah.
which could technically be it.
Yeah,
you get the
you're
full-
gonna get the one.
You're gonna get your full benefit.
And
But
is
after the
that,
6 months, he's gonna get
Is
2
that
weeks, no
accrued?
matter how long he works.
is this,
Yeah.
is this accrued, so then?
Well, yes, you mean,
If I
carry
don't,
over?
yeah, let's say I get 2 weeks, I don't use my 2 weeks, can I use them next year and get
Yes.
4 weeks?
Yes,
And then where's the cap?
that's what, we don't have anything listed on here,
We need to put a cap.
okay?
First off, it's healthy for the employee to take a vacation.
Yes.
Oh, that's one of the main reasons why. Go away for a while.
Maybe,
Get away.
maybe that's why I'm not so healthy.
Maybe, maybe you need a vacation.
Yeah.
I think that you should
That's
not.
why, I mean, I think we can make some small changes now, but I think in general,
Okay,
we might need to look at a more in-depth overhaul.
I agree.
And, you know, we're kicking at it as best we can, but
Yeah.
maybe we consider either we have to take other people's policies and see what we like, portions of those.
Sure.
Or I know there's firms, I think Dave mentioned it once, to have a professional firm come in and look at this. I think, It sounds like a
I'm not sure of
Dave-
this, but
Dave
I
thing.
know he's done rate increases and stuff.
yeah.
Usually.
I mean, I don't wanna spend-
$8,000, so.
$3,000.
yeah.
No, I know.
I mean,
So maybe we could do this with just grabbing some other people's,
I can do that, I can look into,
You know.
because I've been doing that for, talking about money and benefits and all
Sure.
that kind of stuff, I can see if people have, I'll call around.
but we do need to tweak this a little bit because
Yeah.
the way it sits right now, we need to cover ourselves a little
yeah,
bit.
if there's a way to do accrual,
So-
and then if somebody, if somebody earned and banked, I don't know, 10 weeks, do we owe them 10 weeks when they did give their 2 weeks?
I think,
As of right now, yeah.
yeah,
Yes, as of right now, we would. That's why
Yes.
we need to cap that time.
yeah, you gotta put a
Yeah.
limit on it.
Yeah, there's a reason people stay at jobs for a long time, because if there's a great loss because they leave, then they don't leave.
So what are we thinking for,
For today's,
For today's thing?
alright, so why don't I look into capped, amount of days? Let's leave this one right now as, we're talking, I'll reword the employees who terminate to basically say half
Germans who
At-
the portion.
begin at start of calendar year, half vacation time is earned through June 30th. Second half of vacation time is earned July
1
through December.
Yeah. And then I'm not looking to take anything away from somebody who has it now based on the policy. So if somebody here does have 50 weeks of vacation built up, then I don't think we can take
No,
that
you can't,
away.
yeah.
But I think we should cap them at where they're at now, if they're at 50 weeks. But then set
50
up
weeks.
some sort of a cap
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
reasonable, so, you know,
Yep.
because we've done that before. We've
Yep.
started to try to make some policies that affect current employees, and we're either gonna have to mention that they're grandfathered in.
Yep.
Or.
Yeah, we did that with other.
Yeah.
So if we
Retirement
change this policy, how does it affect current employees?
They all would have to
They would have to
agree
sign
to the
this.
change.
Well, that's, yeah,
So that's why, you know, I don't wanna affect anybody's current status. So,
Well-
based on what they thought
That's fine, and I agree. I don't really want to either, but I do want to for a new hire to maybe get these.
yes.
Yes.
Get this
I
into
mean,
effect.
so that kind of rolls into the next section on the next page. Talks about employee education and licensing benefits. Right now, the district pays for all licenses, classes, you know, the distribution classes, the treatment, we pay for the license, we pay for the training that you need for it. We pay for all of that, and it's, some classes are very expensive. You know, we just paid for another employee, it was over $1,000 to get
I'm
like.
gonna drop the 3 to 2.
I left it there
Okay.
in talking to them. So it's tough right now. It's very competitive out there. There's a lot of new people coming in and everyone's going around. So the hard part is we're investing a lot of money in some of these new hires, and then they're leaving us a couple months later after we just spent, you know, $1,500 on training for them. So would we want to consider stating to them if, and I get that the 3 years I think
That's
is
excessive.
long.
That's too long.
So, but I also do feel like a year is kind of short.
This is a tough one.
I do know,
I run into the same thing. I mean, I help guys out, we train them up, I help them get either a CDL or a hydraulics license or send them to an OSHA class or whatever,
Yeah.
and then, you know,
They're gone.
hey, I thank you for all this stuff, I see I got a better job,
Yep.
more money. So
yeah,
What about,
It's just,
what about they have to stay a certain length of time or else they're gonna be responsible for a portion?
that's what that
is.
states.
Yeah, or all of
That's
it.
what that states. So
Okay.
it basically
But
says,
how do
you
you go
know.
after, if somebody leaves, how do you go after them for costs of a
Well,
class?
that's where it would come to,
Well, that's pretty.
All right, I'm giving
and
my
this-
notice.
This, with this policy, it's pretty evident that like you just show up, you just took a class that was
Yeah.
$1,500.
and if they don't want to, then you say, all right, well, you know, if they,
I don't think there's a whole lot you could stand on with that, but I think if
Obviously
you
can't
had it
go
in there as
after
part of
them.
the policy that they understand it.
Yes.
Because they signed it.
Yes.
So if the time came like, hey, you know, hey, you spent $1,500 class last year, but
I'm out of here.
I'm not paying you.
It's not like we're gonna hire a lawyer
Yeah,
and go
well,
after them
right,
for
so I think-
$1,500.
I think it's just to make a statement.
Okay.
It's, and I do think the 3 years is
Or
too
maybe,
long.
maybe even get rid of the 3 years and say, you know, anticipated that you remain on staff for, I don't know. That's.
I gotta tell you, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't. I know exactly what you're talking about, but
And it sucks that people
It just-
do that.
I feel like
Well, I mean, like, I know, talking with Lisa, like, Austin, another person, did a lot of that, and that's part of his, if they leave, and I know our light department, those guys have it, all the training that they do.
Well, if
They
it's-
have to-
if, that's where I say, grabbing a few different policies, if it's something that you
Yeah.
see in somebody else's policies a couple times, a couple different places, then yeah, I
I know,
mean,
I should've
if it's,
looked around too.
if it's something
I know
that's
you guys
out
by
there in
now.
the industry.
I know you by now, who else does it?
Yeah, who else does it? Well, it's
So,
just,
I don't know, I mean, even, all right, so even if we did employ,
I mean, this is kind of stepping out a total different line. But what if we say we don't pay for any training or licenses above what's needed for Lunenburg?
Oh, I would say that's 100%.
That's kind of
Okay.
what happened here.
Yeah.
yes,
It would license, because we've always been like sell to, you know, your max.
Yeah.
sure.
But in this case, we did the class and it turned around and allowed them to get
Alright,
another.
so-
So if,
Employee
I,
education.
I'm all for furthering education, so I think I agree that it
If-
isn't a bad thing to contribute some to that, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. Why would you have somebody go and test for something that is not required here?
okay, so what if we take that
And
last
pay,
line?
and pay for everything, you know? I'm all for helping, if somebody wanted to further themselves, great. You know, you wanna, you know, we can come up with some sort of a incentive program if somebody wants to do more, but if it doesn't apply to the job, then I don't see why the district should
Yeah, see,
be.
in this case, this would be a tough one.
It is, because we're gonna be going up.
I think we're gonna be, this would be a needed license
Yeah.
once we do the treatment. So this is where it's tough, so. I mean, we're heading down
Yeah,
all these
but-
roads, we don't have a crystal ball to see
I
what.
know.
But if we
I know.
just, if it's blanket,
It's frustrating.
if you're taking classes that are outside what is required at the Lunenburg Water District, then, you know, they either need to be approved by you, but doesn't mean we have to pay for them,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay, well, so why don't we set it up at the
Well-
discretion of,
Why don't we do this? Like, one, I feel that if I was applying for a job, not that I ever have, I would see this as like
He needs to
a,
get a job.
Yeah.
as like you
Yeah,
kind of like
that's tough.
pigeonhole me into this,
I
and I
know.
just wouldn't like it. Like, oh well, you know. But I think that obviously I fully encourage everybody to get as much education as possible. But I
Yeah.
guess when it comes to the time where you're getting a D4 license or something that we don't need here, that maybe I would have them sign a policy letter saying that.
Okay.
If you take an above and beyond class, we want you to have this knowledge. It's good to us. But
I like that.
if you terminate your employment prior to, and I would do 3 years at that point.
Yep.
You are going to be responsible for this class.
Okay.
You know.
I like that. So what if we did, all right,
See, in the water district.
just cross that last one off, if
More
employee,
I don't even know if I'd put it on this. I think it
scratch
could.
it.
Okay.
I think it could be
Alright.
done on your end if someone wants to take a class. Just have them do like a memorandum for record, like if from this date here, I'll take this class. The
Okay.
water district's going to pay for it. But if I decide to terminate my employment here, either I'm fired or I leave, I'm responsible for the cost of this. You know,
I like that.
when you're signing up for the class, just
Yep.
give them that.
Okay.
I want people to have all
Yeah.
this education, but you know, that's my point. I'm 1 of 3 here.
Okay.
Am I getting bad looks over there?
No, no, I
No,
understand you.
I agree.
It is, it's one of those things, and it's tough, because if you put something into an employee, you give them you pay for them to go to classes, you pay for their licensing, you pay for them to better themselves, which should be a benefit to the district, and then, hey, thanks, see ya.
Oh,
No.
You know?
And
All right, so then why don't we just leave,
I would
so let's scratch that for now.
scratch the entire thing out.
Scratch that for now, so then basically this just talks about the personal days, sick time,
Yep.
it's clearly stated are not reimbursable. And they can't be,
Could you
personal
say
days can't be approved.
quits or retires? Can we say quits or / terminate or fired
Quits, retires,
or fired?
or fired.
And
Okay.
so we're inclined to approve those changes. I would like to,
I think this one's too open to me. There's
Okay.
too many things that are.
All right, if you
what the
don't mind.
changes?
Yeah,
or
well,
no?
because I mean, everybody's got their different opinions on things. I mean, you could, you could do the sick time and
The personal
personal
days.
days. I agree, you could do that.
Let's look more into the vacation.
Yeah, so if you want to
Okay.
approve this for those two, and we just reword the,
I mean, I see what you're saying, Chrissy, how you wrote that. Employees who terminate their employment will only be entitled to a portion of vacation time.
I think that just needs to be more specific.
Maybe that just needs to be dialed in a little bit
Yeah.
more to let people know that.
Exactly what that means.
Versus, I mean, the way I was thinking of doing it is just at least to try to limit the bleeding on our end.
Yep,
but I think the way it's written there, it isn't specific to the T, but it's vague enough that you could get what you just, what
Well,
you said.
I would like it to be very clear to anybody that
okay,
if I choose to leave a quarter through the year, I'm getting a quarter of my vacation.
okay.
But then so the problem with that there is though, but what if that person takes their full 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess that's
know.
kind of where like I'm going back and forth. It's,
I guess it really doesn't, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
It's just- But it goes down, the guy quits in January, well.
All right, what if we leave it as is for now? It at least covers us.
sure. Okay.
Yes, it's
I'm in
vague,
favor of
but
that,
it
yes.
covers us for now. I will continue to look into more exact, but at least this way, we have somewhat of
For a-
coverage.
for a new hire,
For a new
I would
hire,
be-
vacation, personal, and sick.
I would be more
And I would
comfortable
go
with
into
this
And
for
this,
a new hire than
applies to the new hire.
the new
Yes.
hire. Not to anybody else here, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't need anybody else here to sign this, to be honest with you.
It just going forward,
Just going
it's
forward.
effective
This is going
as
forward.
the day you guys vote. Okay.
Yep.
I'm
We
okay
have a
with it.
motion?
Yes,
To make the changes to the vacation leave, personal days, and sick time.
I've made all the motions tonight, John. I'm leaning on you.
John, you wanna make a
Ranking
motion?
you in. All right, I make a motion that we
We are, yes.
Approve the changes to this.
approve the changes to the personnel policies,
Of vacation leave.
vacation leaves, and that's it.
Personal days and
sick
sick
time.
And that'll be for employees hired from this date forward.
Yeah, May 10th.
I second that motion.
Okay. Do we have to have any more discussion on this?
I hope
Are we
not.
good?
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm starting to get a headache.
Starting.
Okay.
I got my
Okay.
copy.
No, there's just
So-
so many things that you could, you know, you just can't get them all. It's-
Now we're gonna go to
Some more.
clerk treasurer additions, superintendent additions, and then commissioners additions. So we'll start with clerk treasurer additions.
The Mack truck, went to go get an inspection sticker and barely passed. Was told that the back two tires are very bad and need to be replaced.
Tires are really good shape, you get big gashes on them,
Yeah.
The sidewalls.
sidewalls, so.
Yeah.
So,
Run them.
well, they're taking that for their CDL test.
So it might
So a
fail.
Stady would probably fail them.
Turn them around.
So I got some.
I mean, these are big gashes.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of money, but.
I know. So I did have, I actually had one of the traveling salesmen for Pete's come out and he took a look at them. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And he said a lot of the Stadies who are doing the CDL test now are actually doing
How much are they?
Truck
the truck.
check.
$1,000 a piece?
No.
Five.
Here's two quotes. I went,
Do you just gonna do two or you can do all four?
so he quoted everything. He did four
Just
back
two
and
in the
two
back.
front. I'm just put it out there. Obviously, we're not getting it. This is just prices. Pete's has two different, a more expensive and a lower one. Fitchburg has,
So
I think
one,
just that.
one's $4,600 and one's $2,400.
Don't look at that, look at the
Look at the
price per
numbers.
tire.
Look at your
Price per
numbers.
tire, okay.
But if you kind of add the mounting, they have other fees of disposing of the tires, but either way, 320 for the back is the lowest price
Per tire?
per
Each
tire.
per tire.
So we don't want to do
The two
one
out.
on each side with the slice.
So the only other thing, by the salesman coming out, he said the only other things you might need, he says, I don't
looked
know
at them
when
already.
the springs inside the back two tires were replaced, which Terry said he seemed to think they were.
The springs, you mean the brakes?
I don't know, something in between it.
There's
Oh,
a
the ring.
The ring.
I don't know.
Yeah, the
Sorry, I don't know.
space, the spaces.
space.
Okay, so anyways, there's, yeah,
Oh, the space band, yeah.
they
I would put that in, just personally.
put what in?
What, that spacer band he's talking about, 70
That-
bucks?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
once that squeezes up,
They
the
can't,
lugs don't go
Okay.
tight.
The dogs don't hold on.
Yeah, they don't go tight.
So the only other thing he did mention was the front tires have a date on them.
Golly.
Tires are in good shape though.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the quotes are for everything there, so I just need to know,
Did they-
are we okay to at least get the two outer
I
tires
would
so that we can pass?
Love you guys to call up A&B Tire. I bought used tires off of Phil over there that are, they're still on my truck. I mean, they're awesome. Just ask. Sometimes he
Yeah,
gets
we
them
don't, we
in.
don't need new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, these things are beautiful and I still run them on there. So, I mean, he may have to, every now and then he gets, I don't know where he gets them, but
Okay,
like,
He gets them all from Ridemore. I went down to Ridemore and tried to buy a couple tires off him. A&B buys all our 11/24/5s.
what's on that? Are they, are
11/24/5s.
they 11/24/5?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're regular
could we,
tires.
at least authorize to buy two tires up to a certain amount? Is that possible? Or do you just wanna wait and I'll get prices and 2
Well,
weeks
if
you
the-
guys can
When's
decide?
this, when do we,
What's that?
Why do we
We're
need
in
to?
a rush.
I guess
we
you
need
don't
to-
have to,
we
it's
don't
part of
need-
our maintenance.
it's
I
out
guess
of
I just
maintenance.
wanted to, alright, so, okay,
Yeah, we don't need to authorize
Put
it.
this on hold, yeah.
alright,
Just do the best you can and
Yeah.
put two tires on the truck.
okay.
That's all. I mean, if they come in cheaper than
I'll
this,
go look at them at the end of the meeting. and then-
All right.
How about that?
Can I have those?
Yeah.
The only other thing I have is, last time we met, I had the proposal that we sent over to Heather, the town manager.
Yes.
And that was sent to the Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
I had asked for us to be put on the agenda.
Correct.
And I didn't realize until this morning that
I
they
saw.
were talking about ARPA funding last night.
Right.
So I did watch the meeting, and I did see that they had more questions.
Sure.
So I did reach out to Heather, I just sent her an email and I said, I watched the meeting from last night, I did see that you guys would like to meet with us, just let us know when.
Absolutely.
Left it
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah,
So I'll let you know when I.
they went through the whole list last night and there was a few things that they had questions on. They're trying to trying to take all the people that are asking for money
Sure.
and just come up with something, so.
Yeah,
So,
so I'll let you guys
us
know when I
and
hear from
I'd
Heather.
gladly
and
have
we
a
can
sit down.
Put some more stuff together.
The only thing that I saw, and just so that you have it when we do meet with them, was, there was a question on,
Why we couldn't.
we're a separate entity, and why are we going to them for ARPA, or don't we get our own ARPA? So just to have a response to that, I think, whatever, you went to the, either the seminar or talked to the person that, so
I
as long as we
actually-
have that.
Yes, I actually saw that and I have a note of that because I
Okay.
would like to respond
Yeah.
correctly to that
Yeah.
answer.
That we
to that
don't-
question.
Yeah, just because we're part of the, you know it, so. I
Right,
just
it's
want-
a
Yeah,
community.
I would like to be able to answer
Sure.
Yeah.
correctly to that. I was told that municipalities can't and that's why you had to go to the town, but I would like to say,
With a little-
this is exactly where I
Little
found it, from the law,
documentation,
yes,
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 okay.
yep, yep.
Yep,
I think that would present well to them,
Yep.
that's just to clarify any of
I
that.
can follow up.
yep.
Because I'm
That's it.
sure they'll have, questions from the townspeople as to why.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're gonna either post when they wanna meet with us or not meet with, or.
I hope so. I just sent
think
her-
they said over the next 2 meetings, they were gonna try to bring different groups in and talk to them.
Yeah, so I
Make
just
a
told Heather to give us a heads up, when she would like us to be there.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, well, number 2, we did the pump test.
Yep,
It ended on Tuesday, 10 o'clock in the morning. It passed the drawdown levels, and now we're on the recovery levels. So as of today, it still has not recovered, it has to recover to 95%, so it has not recovered to 95%. But today it all gained up 1 foot, so we have 1 more foot of water recharge, rise of water table, and then we're good, so.
What's the time limit on that?
He expected 5 days, so I think,
So, one's in a day.
yeah, day and a half,
and to do that test, they ran it constantly for how long?
5 days.
So they ran it straight for 5 days, drew it down to a certain level, and we're looking to see what recovers. But typically, when you run it 8 hours?
Yeah, 9, maybe 10.
So it's not a 5-day full, but this is kind of a way of seeing how fast it
Gauging,
would
right.
recover. Yep.
Okay, so well 2's good. Yeah, we'll see, I'm sure that'll turn out good with the recovery. The Hickory Hills, do you want to talk about, went to the conservation, was a Zoom meeting.
Yep.
And we were just going to be exempt and just let us do our thing. We're only flowing 10 gallons a minute, so it's like someone running the irrigation system. And it was voted down. So now they wanted a RDA to be submitted, which, I wasn't here, but the engineers called, or conservation called, we're gonna meet on Wednesday. at
Oh,
the
yeah,
site.
Lou sent an email.
So we'll see how things go with that, and we'll
Conservation's gonna meet with us Wednesday?
conservation and engineers, so we'll all be there, and. if you
Next
guys are
Wednesday.
welcome.
Next Wednesday,
yeah,
I haven't heard a time yet, he just said.
I'd like to go to
They
that.
would like to go, and I guess they put flags in a wetland area, and that's why they are asking a conservation agent to be there. Is what Lou stated, so he just said, does that work for you guys next Wednesday? And I said, yep.
Alright.
Just let us know what time.
So what does that meeting tell us?
I have no idea, we'll see.
Something, he said as part of the NOI, they have to do some kind of, I don't know.
Preliminary,
Huh?
probably preliminary work to,
I think so.
So-
They have to do some work to it, which requires them going out, staking some of the area, and then, just trying to let conservation be there to be a part of it.
So there's gonna be some kind of activity down there shortly? I mean, not starting work or anything, but people going in there and,
yeah, well, I'm gonna guess, engineers, survey crews to, do.
Yeah, because if you're going with an NOI, they gotta do a plan, don't they?
Yeah, so,
So I think that's what it was part of, going on in the meeting.
yeah, so, basic things, just general walking of areas, shooting stuff. So nothing on the pilot testing till we get the approval through, conservation.
conservation's holding us up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over 10 gallons a minute. Okay. That's it with that, so the filing's gonna be whatever
Yeah.
they have to post for it, right?
Right, and I don't know how that process works, and so, yeah, I don't know when all that's gonna take
Yeah, it's
place.
gonna take, an NOI is much more involved than an RDA, but if you could go to do an RDA and they could ask you to do an NOI, so why not just go right to the next, go right to that
Exactly what
level,
we do.
you know?
We're not gonna be, we don't wanna be doing any more delays, we wanna do it,
Sure.
get it done.
So let's just, you have everybody down there that has a vested interest in this, let's just put,
Do it.
yeah, get everybody together that's got a question about it or whatever, and let's just handle it all at once.
Yep.
Do you know who they're sending from conservation?
I
It'd
do
be, you
not.
have to be the conservation agent, right? I mean, the commission doesn't do any of the. it'd be-
Yes, I guess, I would
It'd be
assume.
like me going to read somebody's meter.
Yeah, I'd
That
assume it
doesn't
would be
happen.
Anna. They've only been talking with Anna, so I'd assume,
Yeah, so it's probably
That's
gonna
what
be, okay. Okay, got any, we're going over old business? The Mass
kinda
Ave?
jumped.
Yeah.
Haven't heard on the Mass Ave, I checked the permits, still have not, heard back from Mass DOT. 15th is the date that they're supposed to get it back to us, so hopefully soon. So hopefully, let's say before the next commissioners meeting, if Mass DOT approves the thing, then we're gonna start working on getting the bid set up, so,
Okay,
Lisa?
110 Burge,
haven't heard back.
Nothing yet. I reached out to KP again.
And H2 to have them reword it.
Reword it, nice.
yeah, so they're supposed to reword the request, we're supposed to find out what our timeline is to
And whether
call
that
a
request
meeting.
is
Legal.
legal, worded correctly and everything, and I
Yeah.
haven't heard from either,
Yeah,
so.
and then there was somebody that said that they couldn't find that that company existed, or?
Yeah.
She did email that to me, and I did mention that to him.
To
So he
KP?
did, no,
Oh, to
H2, because they ended up calling and they said,
Yeah.
oh, we haven't heard anything, and I said, after our last meeting, I said, I'm waiting to hear from KP. I did forward it, I said, but I will let you know in discussion at our meeting, a few topics came up. One of them was that you had it worded as a public hearing. We believe it needs to be, obviously KP will advise differently, but we believe it needs to say special meeting. I said, the other thing was residents were requesting some type of plan, something to look at. I said, I'm just telling you what people were requesting. I said, and another resident brought up that they found that your business was, and I think I brought it up however it was worded,
Dissolved.
dissolved, something like that. And he's like, oh, no, we haven't gotten, I'm like, okay, I'm just letting you know what was talked about, which he could easily watch YouTube and see everything. So I let him know the few topics and I have not heard anything.
Sounds like they didn't do their annual filing.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me, but, you know.
Yeah, that's
So
possible.
nothing new from them.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have any other additions, Fran?
No, well, one little thing, it's not really a little thing, but somewhere down the road, the Keating's well, the actual well, we need to have that cleaned, surged, redeveloped. I spoke to the well drilling crew, the guys that were doing well number 2, and so I kind of spoke to them a little bit, and talking about how to process, how to do it, and because how much money, anticipating about $30,000 to redo it. That kicks us into the public bid. And so I think we'd have to talk to Ty and Bond and actually have them do a public bid, where they actually do the
30, I thought it was 50. I thought, up to 10,000, I thought it was 3 bids, but then I thought it was it, I know there was a level where you had to go out to bid.
Yeah, that was 25 out to public bid.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, yeah, I just confirmed that, because I've seen, I don't know, it's different everywhere I go, so.
But so the well will be down for, it could be a month. They do, they repair the pump, clean the pump.
So this would be best done, can they do this work in the fall?
I would
Late fall?
say probably we do something like November time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so the reason I'm bringing that up, if we do a special meeting for the expansion of the district, then maybe we tie that in, appropriate the money. to
Money
do
for
that.
it, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, I'm just giving you a heads
Sure.
up that this might be in the, down
Makes
the road,
sense.
so.
Okay, I got something I'd like to talk about.
Are you gonna just bypass Woody?
Well, now that I have the table.
I didn't know you had anything to say.
I didn't know- I didn't know.
You're just kinda sitting
I
there.
didn't know it was going to me, but no, you got anything that Mr. Esposito would like to talk about?
All right, I want to talk about the pilot study for a minute over there in the Woodlands. We've had a young lady come in from the Woodlands who's at 3 or 4 meetings has been concerned about safety issues over there. Now, I'm not really too concerned about the safety issues, but people, for some reason, seem to gravitate towards construction sites. They like to see what's going on, they like to look down in the hole if there's one there, da-da-da-da. And every construction site that I've ever seen in the area or out of the area has always had a containment around it to keep people from, going over there and getting injured. And I think that with the liability that could be involved with that, if somebody gets hurt over there, and I think we should start thinking about some kind of a containment for that area when we get started, to keep anybody from getting in there and keeping our liability as low as possible.
Yeah, so we're putting it in everything's going in the building, isn't it? But there's gonna be piping and stuff outside the building.
Yes, and, yes, piping on the outside, other things that'll be in the outside is data loggers on monitoring water levels. So I've heard in the past, not necessarily there, but, some of these projects, people are opposed to them, so they go and mess around with those things.
Yeah.
So, that was one of the big concerns, and I said, well, we'll put cameras up on, looking at them. So
Cameras,
someone's-
tampers, did they do tamper switches or anything?
I don't know if they have tamper switches, but if we do cameras, we're all tied to a whole network system, so I
Right.
mean, we can sit there and watch the site constantly, so.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not,
Yeah.
How things, we're already spending a ton of dough, so I'm really not looking to spend additional money, but I understand the concern for safety, and I think that definitely that's something we need to be concerned that, how things are set up, that everything's well marked and,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with John that, I don't know exactly what this thing's gonna look like while they're doing it, but, if there's an area that someone could, wander into or get hurt, or, it should be cordoned off. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, if we needed to do something, I don't know if we do temporary or,
I guess, can't, without seeing what's there.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I think it's something that we should be conscious of and make sure that there's no, low impact, but, no harm.
I just don't want the water district to get sued. And there are
Yeah.
people out there who love to sue.
I just make sure that we have proper signage and whatever we have to have
Yeah.
to warn people, and that if there's an unsafe condition, that we
Mitigate it.
have to, yeah, we're gonna have to
Right.
cordon that off. See how it goes. I would definitely kinda have that in mind when you're talking with Ty and Bond, I guess, Fran, and see.
Yep, yeah, they're on top of that, because we've talked about.
John, is that good? Do you have anything?
No,
else?
that's all I had to say.
Okay, I was just stepping back to the ARPA funding a little bit. The nice thing is, from what I understood at the meeting, is if the funds are committed, then that's pretty much like they are spent. So if PFAS is going to cost the district and the people of Lunenburg a ton of money. There's no nice way about it.
No.
And my personal feeling is, it's already proven that PFAS is a harmful chemical. So when the people talk about the EPA lowering their levels or whatnot, I don't really, yeah, that could happen and that could be a benchmark for us, but for my personal feeling, it's a harmful chemical. I don't care what the levels are, I don't want it in our water. So,
0 is the level.
and,
I want zero.
and from what I understand, we're talking, by the time we're done, we're gonna spend well over $10 million or more on all of our supplies and treatment. So this is I guess maybe, I don't know if my analogy is quite correct, but this is like a Flint, Michigan national. This is a national problem that people are having, and, you know, my personal feeling is I don't care what the EPA is. From what I read on the health effects of PFAS, I think it's our responsibility to try to do our best to just get rid of it, regardless of what the EPA says for levels or DEP says for levels. With that, it's a huge undertaking and huge expense that we haven't really considered. And if the town would be willing to, you know, allocate those funds, then we'd be able to start pilot studies almost immediately, because there's no special meeting for us. They give us the funds.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I think that it's crucial that we stay on top of this, and as soon as that happens, we engage with Ty and Bond on our other sites.
Because that money does need to be spent within 2 years, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so, yes, if that does
Yep.
happen, I
And I
believe-
think it would be great if, like we talked about, the timeline of stuff, it would be great to start, if this goes through, to start some of those pilot studies for them to be able to work on that capital plan. So then when it does come time to do a full education for the entire town, they're gonna have data. They're
Yep.
gonna have stuff to
Correct.
say, this is what we've been working
Yeah.
on for the past year. This is what our goal is, and our residents can understand exactly where the
Yep.
funds went to. So-
Yeah, and the other thing too is, you know, I hate thinking about spending that kind of money, but you got to do it. And the longer we wait, the more it's gonna cost.
Yep.
It's not gonna get any cheaper. From this day forward, it's only gonna go up.
Yep.
So, you know, everybody at home should investigate and research this PFAS,
Well, that's the whole idea of
Chemical and-
the public education.
Right,
Yeah.
I'd love
That's why
to,
we want-
at minimum, I would love to get that public education piece, because I think that
Yeah.
would really answer a lot of just vague questions that people had.
Yep, and it's not just, you think about it, I mean, there's ARPA funding for sewer projects out there. Not everybody's in the sewer district, not everybody's in the water district, but you know what? Everybody that goes to a Lunenburg school drinks Lunenburg water. Everybody that goes into town hall.
Yeah.
All of our fire trucks get filled with Lunenburg water. So, yeah, it affects you know, what we do does affect everybody in the community. And the public education piece, you know, is gonna help people that aren't on
Right.
water, because
People-
I think we should, you know, I've tried to navigate it. Where do I go to get a PFAS test if I have a well? I have no idea. What kind of a filtration system do I use to help if I have PFAS in my water? I tried Googling some of these things and trying to get specific. I think that's very important that we can get that type of information out to the public. And you know, for us to do that now, we have to have a special meeting. If we get the ARPA funding for it, we can get right at it, which I think I think
Yeah.
it's great that the town's considering it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get that. That was all I had, because if I had to complain about my bill, I'd have to have a hearing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll talk to you after.
Yeah. Last but
Oh.
least, public comment out
Public
there.
comment? Any comment from the public? This is a great meeting. All right, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right,
I second that.
thank you.
Okay.
Can you do?